Hello, good day. When a predator appears, a deer would run but constantly pause to see if they can rest or not. Compare this to the human. When a predator appears, humans do not pause and often don't change their behavior until it's too late. This is the difference between cycles and modes. To a deer, stress is a cycle. You eat, you run, you rest, all planned. But to humans, stress is a mode. You switch it on and you stay on it until you accidentally turn it off. That's why if negative thoughts just don't seem to stop, even when we try to think positive, it's because we're in rest mode and we're not resting. The best method for managing stress is called the X rule. Stress is reduced by the number of definitions you can attach to it. Stress is a passing cloud. Just wait a few moments, it'll go away. Stress is other people. I need some time by myself. Stress is an unemployed contract worker waiting for you to give it a job. If you can define your stress, you can define your actions. In this video, we offer you 4 more powerful redefinitions that can turn your stress into power and clarity. Joe is a competent man who happened to be a workaholic. You see, his father used to say, "Joe, there is only 1% difference between your DNA and a chimpanzee. If you step back, you'll fall behind." Joe took this 1% advice to the extreme and worked 24/5 as a Forex trader. What that job does is, he'd pick a foreign currency, yen, euro, peso, and if it went below a certain number, he'd buy, and if it went above, he'd sell. So he watched the screen through meals and sleep on the desk. Also, he could refresh, click, re-enter, refresh, click, close, re-enter, faster and faster. He'd work for months and years without vacation, only to be met with inconsistent results. The only consistent result he got was he stopped tasting food, could no longer see colors, and all he could see in his dreams was a chart going up and down and up and down. Then one day it just went down, down, down. He slammed his desk, breaking his monitor. One of the coworkers, Frank, jolted and asked Joe what was going on. "Jesus, Joe, if you're so stressed about this job, why don't you quit? You're too good to burn away like this." Joe pulled his face, then replied, "Because it's not about the paycheck, Frank, and it's not about falling behind. All of this, the constant clicks, the fast meals, the neck ache from sitting on this cheap chair, I endure all of this so I can one day be free." The second definition of stress is the ultimate fight for one's liberty. For a rocket to break into the atmosphere, it needs to endure 1600 degrees of heat and friction. If you dream of the sun and the moon, and if you don't want to be second to nobody, you can't afford to have a cold engine. You gotta keep the engine hot to stay at the top of your game. Third definition. Inside Benny's head, there was a nasty prosecutor building a case against him. Your inner lawyer is trying to defend you, but for some strange reason, it kept babbling the same words over and over again. Benny saw this and learned, a lawyer without evidence is just extremely expensive. So he began collecting evidence of his good behaviors. Every small win, every thank yous, every time he was there for someone. Once he submitted the evidence, that's when the lawyer began speaking like a well-groomed gentleman and closed the case. The third definition of stress is the lack of evidence. When something foul happens, we often don't know the words or the procedures to defend ourselves, which leaves behind an open loop in our minds that our brain desperately tries to close. Fourth definition, and my favorite, stress is a hungry tiger. There is a big orange tiger in your room, and every time you do something productive or beneficial, it growls. And the only way to keep it quiet and calm is by procrastinating. Relax and give it something to eat, then it'll turn chubby and it'll go to sleep. And finally, the most important redefinition for stress is not a thought problem, stress is a body problem. And the body doesn't speak English, which is why we must learn body language. Softening the eyes, dropping the shoulders, yawning a bit. There is a lot of invisible tension in our bodies, which differs from person to person. In my case, there is a lot of tension in my eyes, my neck, and my calves, probably because I spend all day in front of a monitor. The one thing that never helped for me, in fact made it worse, was positive thinking. Just saying be happy never worked, but strangely enough, prayers always work for me. Perhaps talking to someone is more important than talking to oneself. By any means, I wish you happiness and I hope many miraculous things happen to you.